Hey everyone, I'm Bianca Jordan. I'm an immigration attorney at Brazen Legal. I wanted to hop on really quickly and do this live video on how to get a fiancé visa. I have been getting a lot of calls and having consultations with people asking to get a fiancé visa. And actually, last night I did a clubhouse room on how to get a fiancé visa. So I've had this question a lot. I wanted to talk about this question around now because Sunday was Valentine's Day, and I know that a lot of people typically get engaged or married around this time. So I really wanted to take some time to explain the fiancé visa process. For those of you who are new, I'm Bianca Jordan. I am the founder and owner of Brazen Legal, which is my immigration law firm. I help immigrants get legal status, usually through green cards, through family members, as well as humanitarian programs such as VAWA, asylum, and special immigrant juvenile status. So, as I mentioned, I want to talk really briefly about the fiancé visa process, what it entails, what it looks like from start to finish. So, the first thing to understand about the fiancé visa, which is also known as the K1 visa, is that you must be engaged to a US citizen in order to get this visa. So, a green card holder cannot petition for his or her fiance to get a fiancé visa. Only a US citizen can petition for their foreign fiance to get a fiancé visa. In addition to being a US citizen, the US citizen petitioner, as well as the foreign fiance, have to have met each other at least once in the last 2 years. There are some really narrow exceptions, but generally speaking, you have to have met each other at least once in the last 2 years. In order to file this application, you're filing Form I-129F with USCIS, and in that application, you are including proof of the petitioner's US citizenship. So this could be a birth certificate. It could also be a passport, certificate of naturalization, something that proves that the person who is petitioning the foreign fiance is a US citizen. You also want to provide proof that you've met each other in the last 2 years. And then you also want proof that once the foreign fiance enters the United States, they will marry the US citizen within 90 days. So you file all of this with USCIS. This process generally, it's hard to say how long it takes right now because of COVID. And admittedly, I haven't filed one of these during COVID, but under normal circumstances, um, I say like 6 to 8 months generally for this application to be approved. Again, with COVID and everything, it's a little up in the air. But if the form I-129F is approved, then the case is moved to the Department of State, where you're filing Form DS-160, and they're going to ask you a lot of information that is similar to the information that you had to submit on the Form I-129F, but you file the DS-160. This is a different agency. The 129F was with USCIS. The DS-160 is now with the Department of State. And once the DS-160 is processed and approved, the case goes to the embassy, and the foreign fiance will then have to go to their fiancé visa interview at their consulate. If all goes well, then the fiancé application, the fiancé visa is approved, the K1 visa is approved, and the foreign fiance gets this fiancé visa and they have to come to the United States. As soon as they get to the United States, they have 90 days in which to get married to the US citizen spouse. If for whatever reason something happens and you don't get married, that fiancé visa is automatically, well, if you don't get married within the 90 days, the fiancé visa is automatically revoked and you have to leave the country, or you could be deported. But if all goes well and you get married within that 90-day period, then you can immediately file for a green card right after. So again, just to recap the process, you're filing Form I-129F with USCIS. You have to be engaged to a US citizen in order to do this. The US citizen is filing this form with USCIS with proof of their citizenship, proof of your relationship, proof that you intend to get married within 90 days, proof that you've seen each other at least once in the last 2 years. Once the Form I-129F is approved, the case then moves to the Department of State, where you will file DS-160, and once the Form DS-160 is processed and approved, the case goes to the embassy, and then the foreign fiance will then have to go to the embassy for their interview. If all goes well, the K-1 visa is issued, and then the foreign fiance is able to come to the United States. Once the foreign fiance comes to the United States, they have 90 days to get married. As long as you get married within that 90-day period, you can then go ahead and apply for a green card. And this is important because the only purpose of the K-1 visa is to get you here so that you can get married. You can't work with it. You can't get lawful work cards or work authorization with the K-1 visa. It's only so that you can come to the United States to get married to your U.S. citizen fiance. Once that happens within that 90-day period, you can immediately go ahead and apply for a green card, which also will include an application for your work authorization at that time. You don't have to wait any amount of time after getting married to apply for a green card once you've gotten married. So in theory, you could get married on Monday and then file for a green card the next day if you choose to, as long as you have everything that you need. And depending on how long you've been married at the time that that green card application is approved, you'll get a 2-year green card. So for example, if you file immediately after getting married, your marriage will be under 2 years old. So if the green card application is approved and you have been married for less than 2 years at that time, then you're going to get a 2-year green card. If you get married, or rather if the application is approved and you've been married for longer than 2 years, then you're going to get a 10-year green card. So I wanted to just hop on really, really quickly, just do a live video on this topic because, again, Valentine's Day was around the corner and I have been getting a lot of questions. I've had a couple of consultations about fiance visas, so I wanted to hop on and just share what the process looks like. If you need assistance with your fiance visa, definitely feel free to give my office a call at 508-942-7497. You can also visit brazenlegal.com to learn more about me and my law firm. Thanks so much for watching.